Come along with me and I have a catering order. Just going to show you a tip.
Yes, just before 5 o'clock. I'm up.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello. My name is Gabby. I'm 27. I live here in regional Victoria, Australia. I'm a qualified pastry chef, but I am also a mother to a 15-month-old. So my content consists of me being a stay-at-home mum, but also behind the scenes of my career as well. Come along with me for the next couple of days and I have a catering order. This is my second catering order ever. A bloke that I work with, it is his 50th wedding anniversary. I'm pretty sure he said 50th. And he wanted me to kind of recreate the cake that they had at their wedding. So they actually had a croquembouche at their wedding, not an actual cake, which is so extra from 50 years ago. So they just want like a mini version. They don't want this like massive croquembouche. But he wants me to low-key recreate the one that they had on their wedding day as like a surprise for his wife, which is just so cute. So today it is Saturday and I'm going to get started on making some of the elements today, and then tomorrow I will make a couple of other bits, and then Monday I unfortunately work. On Tuesday is when I will assemble it, because that's when he wants it. He wants it on Tuesday. I'll have to get up early and I will assemble it all so I can deliver it on the Tuesday morning. So these are the things that he wants. It's not like a typical croquembouche. He would like the profiteroles to be dipped in chocolate ganache, which is perfectly fine. He also wants them filled half and half, of some with custard and some with cream. And he still wants, even though it's made with chocolate ganache, he still would like the toffee sprinkled over, or the caramel like sprinkled over it. I'll also probably have to use the caramel to actually help assemble it, because the chocolate is not stable enough to hold it together. Especially now that it's getting a little bit warmer, I would hate for it to melt and just completely fall apart in the car. That would not be fun. So today I'm going to get started on making the choux pastry, because I can put that in the freezer, which will actually make it a lot easier to dip it in the ganache when they are frozen, because they set quicker because they're obviously cold. Also just to keep it fresh. So I'm going to get started on making the choux pastry. I'm going to show you guys how I make choux pastry. Choux pastry is my all-time favorite thing to make ever. So if anybody has a request, definitely choux pastry is one of them. Okay, I'm gonna get all my stuff out. I'm gonna be using the recipe that I use at work, but I'm obviously altering the measurements because I don't need a absolute shitload of choux pastry like I do at work. So this is the recipe that I use. It is actually my recipe because I've totally altered this to how I like the consistency of my choux pastry. So you will need 500 mils of water, 175 grams of butter, 5 grams of sugar, 5 grams of salt, and 250 grams of flour. I'm gonna pop that all in my pot. All right, let's take this to the stove. So I'm just waiting for the water, the butter to get to boiling point before I pop my flour in. And I'm just going to grab my wooden spoon. Now, people always wonder why you have to get the water to boiling before you put your flour in. Reasoning for that is because when you add your flour, it needs to gelatinize the starch to actually help it become a really strong dough and pastry. If you don't do that, your batter will just sweat all of the butter out of it and it will just go flat and your pastry will just be shit. So that is the reasoning that you need it to be pretty much boiling, and it's like frothing almost. So I'm just going to mix it just to help it melt a bit quicker, and then I'll pop in my flour once it's all boiled. And I'm literally going to show you the steps on how you mix it. It's a whole process, so I'll show you. So I'll just pop it here so I can show you on what you need to do. Almost there at boiling point. All right, so this is ready. So I'm going to pop my flour in. I'm taking it off the heat and mix. Now you need to use a wooden spoon. This is not going to work with any other utensil. You need to have a wooden spoon. So just keep mixing until all of that flour and liquid is combined. And then you put it back on the heat And that is done. So you know your dough is done when it can't touch the sides. So when you're mixing it, it just stays fully together and it doesn't touch any of the sides of the pot. When I go get my bowl, it should just flop out of this pot and not be stuck to it at all. Welcome to my pantry. My dough is extremely hot. I'm gonna pop it in my mixer and I'm gonna let it just mix around in there just so until it cools down. I might put it on there for about 3 to 5 minutes. It needs to be mostly, it can still be warm, but it needs to mostly be a bit cooler just to help it not like really cook the eggs in the pastry, otherwise it'll go extremely thick. So I'm going to turn this on and let it mix for a little bit and we'll come back to when we need to put the eggs into it. That is done. So when I'm touching it, it's still warm but not like boiling hot like it was before. So I'll just go grab my eggs, something I prepared earlier. So in here I have 10 eggs. Test out the mixer to see if it's too thick, see if I need to add more. Always do less the eggs than the recipe tells you to do, because you would hate to add all of those eggs for it to be runny as all hell, which you don't want because you get flashy pastry. So I'm going to put half of the eggs in first. Let that mix. Okay. Show you what it looks like once I've only poured half the eggs in. See how it's still quite thick? So still not enough eggs. Keep going. So I'll chuck the other half in and mix. Beautiful. See how that's falling off really nicely? You want to be able to do an easy figure eight on your dough. Does that make sense? See how it's just falling off nicely? That's what you want. It's also very glossy and very shiny, which is what you want. So we'll take this to the bench and start piping it. So I have all of my trays all ready to go. So I have my ovens preheating to 210 degrees Celsius, and I've got fan force, and then I've got all of my trays all lined and ready to go. I'm just going to show you a tip for keeping the paper down without having to use any grease. Grab a little bit of batter on your finger, just pop a bit of batter on each corner and just place it down, and it keeps it stuck. I'm going to do that with all of my trays. I even do this at work all the time because it's so annoying when you're trying to pipe and the baking paper just moves everywhere because it's just not staying still. Especially when the batter is really sticky, just helps it stick together. Alrighty, I've got my piping bag. I use it's called Loyal. I don't know, it's a biodegradable bag. So, good for the planet. Okay, let's get piping. Here, and I'm just going to brush the top of the choux pastry, and then I'm going to pop it into the oven. So it goes into the oven for 210 degrees for about 20-25 minutes, and then you put the temperature down back to 180, and it does that for a further about 20 minutes, and then I'll show you what the next process is after that. For about 40 minutes. They're now at like the 180, 170 mark. I'm going to turn my oven off and I'm going to keep them in there. So reasoning for that is you need to dry out your choux pastry. There is a buildup of moisture inside the pastry, and if you take them out of the oven straight away, they are going to go completely soft and they're going to sink because the steam inside of them is going to soften it and just completely wreck your pastry. So you want to keep them in the oven with the oven turned off, and it's just going to dry them out so then they are nice and crispy. I'm going to keep them in there for about 15 minutes, and then later on I'll just suss them out to see if they just need to stay in there for a little bit longer. I'll check in on them again in another 15 minutes and hopefully they'll be all good. 2 of making this catering order. So today I'm going to be making chocolate ganache and one of the fillings, which is the custard filling. I'm going to do that today because the custard needs to set in the fridge, and the ganache I can just make it, pop it in the fridge, and then when I need to use it to assemble, I can just reheat it. So let's do that today. I'm just going to do a montage, I think, because ganache is one of the simplest things to make, and this custard recipe, unfortunately it's my husband's family recipe, so I cannot share it with you. So anyway, let's get to it.
Side by side we sway there in all the colors. Summer love, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love. Stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could use some stuff like that.
Good morning, everybody. It is just before 5 o'clock. I'm up. I really want to go back to sleep. It is assembling and delivery day. It is Tuesday today, the 16th. I have been watching videos religiously on how to stack one of these, and I'm petrified. I have never stacked or done one of these before. I make profiteroles all the time, or well, I make choux pastry all the time, but like stacking them the way they do, I've never done that before. So since I've pretty much made literally everything. I've made the custard with the profiteroles, ganache. This morning I just need to whip the custard, make it really glossy, and then make the whipped cream because that's also one of the fillings, the caramel, and then assemble. So I'm petrified. Let's see how this goes. I also still went to bed really late last night, 10 o'clock. I don't know what the hell I was thinking because now I've woken up and I am extremely tired. I woke up at 4:30 and now I'm extremely tired. But hey, that's what I do to myself. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm not going to probably explain anything. I'm just going to montage it all. Let's do this.
Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen and all the colors. Summer love. Turquoise blue, losing track of time with you. Another peach pie sunset view, sleeping in the afternoon. No place to be and nothing to prove. That's sure something I could use.
So I finished doing everything. I've just got my caramel warming up. But I don't know which way I'm gonna stack it. So I'm toying between just doing it this way or if I do it the traditional way. Don't know. I might do it the traditional way. It'll look so much better. It's stressful.
So it's actually like a whole week later. I never signed the video off or like gave you any updates after I'd packaged it all. So they absolutely loved it. The bloke was telling me at work the following day on the Wednesday that they absolutely loved it. They told all their family members about it, their friends about it, so that's good to hear. Delivering it went really well. The only thing that I was scared about was I had to put it in the fridge, obviously because it's filled with custard and cream. But the problem is when you do that, the caramel can go soft because of the moisture in the fridge. So I was hoping that while it was in the box that it would restrict that from happening, but it still was starting to get soft. So what I kept on having to do was I would put it in the fridge for half an hour, take it out for 15 minutes, put it in the fridge for half an hour, take it out for 15 minutes, just so that the caramel wouldn't get too soft. And then when I took it out for 15 minutes, it would harden back up. But other than that, it went really smoothly. Delivering it went perfectly fine. It did not fall apart in the car. So all in all, it was a very good experience. So, and his praise to everybody at my workplace and how great it was. So anybody needs me for their croquembouche needs, just let me know. But in all honesty, it was really good like experience to try and make that sort of thing. I never actually got the opportunity to do that at pastry school. We made Choux pastry, but we did not like learn to stack it or anything like that. So doing that for the first time was definitely an experience, and hopefully I will get another opportunity to do that again. But anyway, I'm going to sign the vlog off here so I can quickly edit this clip and then upload it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching and following along with this journey. If you did enjoy, definitely give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow along for more in the future. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next